What's it like to live and die with ALS? May is ALS Awareness Month, so this video I'm going to talk all things amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is ALS, otherwise known as the Lou Gehrig's disease. I want to talk about what is this disease, who does it affect, what happens, and what is it like to die from this disease. There are many different types of ALS. Now, there is no cure for any of the type, but let's just talk about what it is generally, and then I do want to talk about the specific types of the disease and how they affect the person. So it's a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerves in the brain and spinal cord. So these motor neurons control everything from walking, talking, to breathing. So generally speaking, people with ALS will have weakening muscles that waste away and lose the ability to function over time, which would eventually lead to their death. The reason why it's called Lou Gehrig's disease is because there was a famous baseball player in the 1930s who got this disease, and I think made some awareness around it, made it like a famous disease, so they call it Lou Gehrig's disease. There are actually many different types of ALS. I'm going to talk about 6 of them, but there's actually even more. Number 1, sporadic ALS. This is the most common type of ALS. 90 to 95% of people who get ALS get sporadic ALS. There is no genetic or known familial link to this type of ALS. The symptoms from sporadic ALS can vary, meaning they can start in the limbs or they can start in the bulbar region, which is more like speech area. So there's 2 different ways ALS can present. Sometimes it's like weakenings in the hands and legs, or sometimes it's like slurred speech. So it depends, but with sporadic ALS, the symptoms vary. And again, so with ALS, sometimes the progression can be slow, it can be fast, and depending on the type of ALS you get, sometimes the type you get is a fast progression, sometimes the type you get is a slow progression. And again, with sporadic ALS, it varies. It can be fastly progressing or slow progressing. Typically from start of diagnosis to death is usually 2 to 5 years with any type of ALS. And with the sporadic, anyone can get the sporadic, so it ranges from like age 40 to 70. The second type is familial ALS, which means there is a genetic component to getting this diagnosis. And about 5 to 10% of all cases are familial ALS. And this means that there is some kind of inherited gene that you also could pass down to your children. So if you have familial ALS, I do believe you have a 50% chance of passing it down to your children, so on, so on, so on. So familial ALS is often very similar to sporadic, except that it can affect people earlier on in age. And again, with the progression, ALS is tricky because ALS really is person dependent. So with familial ALS, again, it varies. Sometimes that could mean it's a fast progression depending on the person. Sometimes that means it's a slow progression. So who does familial ALS affect? It is inherited through the genes. So you'd have to figure out if your family has this in your genes, and if it does, they do have a 50% chance usually to pass it on through the familial line. The third one is bulbar onset ALS.